Hey, what's going on, folks? It's Mike here, and welcome back to my SDL series. In today's episode, we're going to go ahead and get started with downloading the SDL library, and we're going to build it from source. One, because building from source is a great skill, and again, you can kind of follow these directions for any operating system that you're on. That said, though, I'm going to be adding more videos to this playlist towards the front on building for various operating systems. But again, today we're going to go ahead and start with Linux on my Ubuntu machine, and then again, you can look at my playlists for building on Mac or Windows, or just downloading the pre-compiled versions from a package manager. I'll add those over time and as they get updated. But for those of you who wanted to get started today, and well, again, building from source is just kind of an awesome skill to have. Let's go ahead and dive in. So again, from the libsdl.org webpage here, we can already see since the last video that they are always making improvements, which is great. Again, one of the motivations for using SDL is because it is a up-to-date library, but it's also very, very stable in the sense of, they add the features, test the features, and add new things as they're needed. So anyways, with that said, we're going to go ahead and click on this link to get the latest version. Otherwise, you could search for the GitHub, which will be in the bottom left corner usually. Or again, this link will take you directly to 3.24. But what I'm going to do here is just click on SDL here. And I'm going to want to download this source code repository. So I'm going to copy this URL here and hold on to that here. And again, it's going to be useful for you to, if you haven't done this type of thing before, to, well, actually read the directions. So let's go ahead and open up the install here, and we'll take a little look at there. And again, you always want to read the README, which again highlights that, yes, you should read the install document here. But as we're getting that set up, let's go ahead and open up our terminal here. And I'm just going to go ahead and in this directory, create a build here. Where I'll have my SDL here. And in fact, it'll be fine here to just download this Git repository here. Let me go ahead and show you how to do that. I'm going to do git clone here. If for some reason you don't have Git or don't like using it as well, you can always just go back here and download a zip of the repository as well. So again, a few different options for getting the source code. But I usually like just pulling from the Git repository because sometimes it's useful to be able to search through the Git history, and sometimes you can learn features that way. But anyways, we'll go through this as needed here. So anyways, as this is finishing up here, what we're going to go ahead and do here, let's just take a quick peek at the install instructions here. Today I'm going to be showing you cmake, which is a sort of meta build system. And the good news is it usually just works. When it doesn't work, we can deal with that. But there are other environments set up for Visual Studio for building, Xcode. Looks like they've got something for Android Studio, and even Mscripten for the web here. So you can check those out here, but we're just going to start with cmake because we otherwise just need to get SDL up and running here. Okay, and of course, we'll take a look at the documentation and the sample code here, which can be useful. And again, if you download the whole repository, as opposed to just downloading the pre-compiled version, you'll have all the sample code in this GitHub repository. All right, so it looks like we've got SDL downloaded here. And again, just to show you the structure here, I've got an empty main program which will be compiling, but my folder here for SDL where the library exists is what we want to build here. And typically what you'll see is the cmake's list here. You can take a peek at it if you want here, which tells us how to, again, compile. These are the rules for a cmake file, which will basically generate a project file or a build for us. So we're going to use the make system. So make sure that you have cmake installed. This is the version that I have. If you don't have cmake, you can do something like sudo apt install cmake, and your package manager should bring this in. Again, if you're on Linux using pacman or yum, yum install cmake or pacman-s for installing cmake will work, or whatever the variety is. But use your package manager otherwise to obtain cmake. The other prerequisites, you're going to need a compiler, like say G++. Here's the version I have, or GCC actually. I think is going to be the dependency that you need here. Let's see, there we go. And if you don't have those, you might need to install the build essentials tools here. So again, just make sure that you have a compiler up and running. So anyways, with that said here, what I typically do is I make a build folder. And again, usually you make this outside of the project just as sort of a courtesy. Sometimes that matters. It just depends on what the documentation doesn't say anything here. I'm just going to build it here so that we can get started here. But and the reason you do that is because sometimes the cmake file might generate a Makefile or something that builds other directories. So sometimes you just want to be careful about that. But anyways, make a build directory, and then you'll run cmake, and then you have to look for where that cmake list was. That was up a directory here. So again, let me just give you the sort of structure of the project here. Again, here is our build folder that we're in, and in the directory up, we have cmake here, right? So again, our build directory here. Let's see if I run tree like this, and then you can kind of see the structure here. Anyways, so before I do that, though, again, this is why it's important to read the documentation and to actually click on the cmake file here. Again, this is going to tell you, some tips on how to actually use cmake and for building here. But if you scroll through the documentation here, and let's see if I can find it again, actually, there are a few different things that you might want to do within your cmake. So for instance, if you want to build the examples that are all here, and you can kind of search around here, you can add this option to your cmake command line such that it'll build all those libraries here. So what you would do is come here and basically add this option here to tell in that cmake list file that, I want to build all the examples. I'm not going to do that, but that is one of the examples that you have. The other example, I don't know if it's in here or where else I saw it, but like for tests, if you want to build all the test suite, which might be important for your platform, it's probably in the test file here. Let's see if I find the README here. Nope, it's not. But anyways, you can kind of grep around here and you'll find a few of those tips here. So anyways, let's build the cmake here. And again, if I scroll to the top here, just in case you're not familiar with cmake here, again, it's doing some things like identifying we have a compiler, some of the prerequisites that might be available otherwise, checking to make sure that we have various files here. And it looks like on my system, I have, most all the stuff I need. Again, if you see that some of these options are off or on, these might be things that you can get and configure in your cmake file here, okay, through those command line options. So see if that's important for you. For instance, I'm on Linux, so I don't have DirectX. It looks like that's off here, which doesn't seem to matter here. And I'm also building the shared library versus, again, if you want to be building the static library. Again, depending on how you want to bundle things, this is how you can set it up here. Okay. So anyways, what did that do here in my build folder? Well, if I look at it now, it's a lot more populated. But the main important thing is that I have this Makefile here. Okay. So that's my build system. I'm going to do make-j8 will do a parallel build with 8 cores. That's what it's going to attempt to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it'll build a little bit faster. If for some reason make-j8 doesn't work, then just try make. And then if that still doesn't work, then you might have to resolve some dependency. But sometimes the parallel builds can get messed up. They're not supposed to, but on occasion I've had that happen when building software. But looks like this is building just fine here. And if I move out of the way for just a moment here, you'll see behind me, here we are. We're linking our C shared library, or building our library here, which is what we wanted in our cmake here. So we get that shared object. Again, if you're coming from a Windows background, that's going to be like a DLL, max, dilib. Those are our shared libraries. And that's what we're going to link in our project so that we can use SDL. Okay, so now again, if I look at our files here, you will see I have this nice green file here, this executable file here, my library. Okay, and that is the idea here. And again, you can see what version it is. 3.25, it looks like, maybe a version ahead, because 3.24 was what was released, and then I built from the GitHub, the main branch. So again, we might be one version ahead, right, for the next release. So anyways, that's on the versioning. Now, let's say I want to use this now, okay? And there's still a few more steps we got to do here, so hang tight with me. Again, I'm going to show you everything, but you're excited because you got this built here, and now let's actually test it out here, okay? So again, let's go into the SDL webpage here. Let's go to the documentation. Let's find a good example here. So I'm going to go ahead to the wiki here. Let's navigate over to SDL3, and let's go ahead and search for... I looked up one earlier. Let's see. I think SDL create window had an example here. Let's do it for SDL3 here. I'm just going to scroll down and take one of the examples, so an example to create an application window. We're going to go through this code a little bit more in depth in the next few episodes, so hang tight. I just want to see if I have something that's working here. So let's go into our main file. Let's paste this in here. So I'm just going to paste it in, make sure to save, and then we have our file as such here. And let's assume the example is good and that we want to now compile it. Okay, so let's go over to our source code here. Okay, our main.cpp. And let's go ahead and compile this, g++ main.cpp-o prog. Let's go ahead and give this a try. Now, for those of you who have watched some of my other videos, like my understand everything in 54 minutes, how to compile C and C++ programs, you know that this is not going to work here, okay? So what happened, if you run into this sort of error, right, if you're building from source or maybe installing SDL from somewhere else, it says undefined reference to SDL create window. Well, I have it here. And again, for our C++ programmers, you know that we have to include, or C programmers, the header file. So we didn't get a syntax error, so it looks like our syntax is good. The sample is perfectly fine. But undefined reference means we can't find the implementation here. So we found the sort of promise that that function exists right in this header file, but we have an undefined reference here, which is kind of interesting. So in our function main, we have to fix this, right? So what was the point of all this? Let's close our source code for now. All right, we built that in SDL in our build directory. That's this guy here, okay? So we need to link into that library here. Now I'm going to show you two ways to do it, so just hang tight. Let's just do it the quick and dirty way because you want to get started, right? So we need to include that library path to basically where we are in the SDL build directory. Okay, so SDL, let's see if I can just type it out here. Build, okay. Let's try that. Still can't do it because now we need to tell which library that we have, and we'll link to our library. So let's go ahead and what is that library called? Well, again, if I do the -l, that counts as like the lib part. So then I just need to add SDL3. And then, the compiler is smart enough to figure out, yeah, it's this .so file. So let's try SDL3. Let's hit enter and voila. Okay, we have found the reference. Okay, so it's no longer an undefined symbol because we're linking this in when we compile our program, such that we should now have a SDL window here. Now I've got two monitors here, so never fear, I do have my SDL window. It is here. Now it's picking up some weird stuff because let me go ahead and move this around here a little bit here. This program's not really doing anything of interest, so to speak here. Let's see if I can run this just one more time. Let's see which window pops up. Sorry, I'm looking around here. Yeah, I get the background of my Ubuntu screen. But there it is. It is running. It is very, very nice here. And we can even take a peek at the source code here to see what it's doing. And again, it's just going to pop open a window. And, well, it's not really going to do anything. We're not clearing the window. That's why we're getting sort of this weird, it's just copying whatever's in the background of your screen. That's fine. It's just creating a window. And again, in a future episode, we'll take care of, setting up the flags for, everything. But if we're building, that's great here. But what you might have been also wondering about is, this is a little bit annoying here, this, linking to this, build file here. And, can we do better? So we're not quite done with our install here. So let me go back into the build directory here. And the other typical thing that you do is make install within here. And usually you're going to want write permissions here. Now what this is going to do is it's going to help make it a little bit easier to just link to these files here. Sometimes you have a hint when you see these .pc files here because we can use a tool like pkg-config to help us here. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my password here. And you'll see what make install does is basically installs all these paths for us for SDL here. And again, it's using this SDL3.pc file here. Okay, so what did that do here? If I run this tool, well, there's two things we could do here. One, let's go ahead and try to, this experiment here with building our software without the library path. Okay, we get the problem here. Let's see if I link in SDL3 now. Oh, cool. So I didn't have to put in the library path because, well, what did I do here? Right? If I look above, it looks like it updated my path so that my compiler, G++ or GCC, whatever you're using, is smart enough to find and locate SDL3. Okay, so no problems there. Now, what's the other interesting thing? Again, as I pointed out, this .pc files, if I use the tool pkg-config, which you may or may not have here, and again, I need to specify a package, so let's specify SDL3. So it found it, that path's been installed. And now I can do stuff like, say, take the libs or libraries here. Or, as my C++ programmers know, you probably need like the include paths, and here are the include paths. Now again, SDL, or it just happens to be that my G++ is smart enough to look in this location already by default. That's why I didn't need to include that path to find my header file that is here, okay? So again, it knew already to look in my user local include path to find SDL where that happened to be installed. So that was good that SDL put that in a nice known location. But in order to do this kind of in a nice way and to work on most platforms, you can use a tool like pkg-config like this, and you could either copy these, or I'll show you the better way here, which is typically what I do, is something like this: pkg-config, libs, c flags, and then of course SDL3 for the library. And basically what that does when I put it in these backticks here, G++, it'll expand this and actually run this command, and it'll fill in the libraries for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And voila, again, we should be done here. And let me run this one more time. You'll see here for a moment, just an empty window. There it is. Again, it's capturing part of my desktop because we haven't set up the graphics yet. But that'll come in another video, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, folks, so there you have it. Let me go ahead and just show you, again, the pieces here for compiling. Here is the full sort of compilation with pkg-config. So I'll go ahead and run that. And if we go back, again, if you need to manually locate the library, let's see, I think we have it. Let's see if we can find it in our history. Let's see here. Oh, I might have gotten rid of it. But we did something like this, SDL/build, something like that. And then you might also have to include, your include, whatever my path was, user local include, something like that, so we know where to find the header file. So you might have to type it out like that. But again, if you install things properly with make and make install, you can just do this. Okay, so that's what we're going to be using for most of this tutorial series here. And if you're following along on most platforms, it can be really, really handy. If you don't have pkg-config, no problem. Just know that you'll have to type it out like this. All right, folks, so there you have it. We'll talk about the actual source code, about what's going on in SDL once we proceed to the next lesson. But again, this is just about getting set up. And if you're able to see some window and not get any syntax errors or undefined reference errors, you are good to go for SDL. All right, folks, so thanks for your time and attention. I hope you enjoyed that. You can check out more of these lessons on SDL on course.mshed.io. Of course, got a bunch of other goodies there if you want to enjoy my other series and so on. But again, I'll let you explore those on your own time. So anyways, folks, thanks for your time and attention. Hopefully that helped you get installed with SDL, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.